Hey everybody, welcome to the Video Game Show. I'm me. Alright guys, so it was quite a slow week in video game news this week, but some of my favorite type of news came out this week. Of course, it was Fallout news. So it was kind of released, kind of announced at the Microsoft conference at E3, but it wasn't really spoken on. When Todd Howard was making his presentation during the Microsoft conference, some subtitles showed up on the screen about when you buy Fallout 4 on Xbox One, you get a copy of Fallout 3 with it. Now, Todd Howard didn't say anything about that, but a lot of people noticed it. I noticed it for one. It has finally been announced, it's finally been confirmed by Bethesda's on Bethesda's blog that you will be getting Fallout 3 with a copy of Fallout 4. This is good news. I'm really happy about this. I love movies, obviously by what half of my channel's content is regarding is movies, but one of my favorite movies is Conspiracy Theory. I love it. Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts. Mel Gibson's like a spy, right? And he was former spy, and he was, you know, they messed up his mind so he can do what they want him to do and without saying no and things of that nature. But there was also something about him that he had to control like a nervous tick, where he always had to have a copy of the book Catcher in the Rye with him, and if he didn't have one with him, he would stop at the nearest bookstore and buy one. So in his house in the movie, he had tons and tons of Catcher in the Rye, and I feel like this is kind of like me, because once I get Fallout 4 on Xbox One, this will then give me my 8th copy of Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas combined total. So yeah, I have issues. Help me, people. So yeah, that was pretty good news. So if you haven't had a chance to play Fallout 3, this is even more of a reason to get into the Fallout series with Fallout 4 on Xbox One. In other Fallout news, Fallout Shelter's been doing great on iOS, on Apple phones, Apple products, and I've had a chance to play it. I've had to use someone else's phone, obviously, because I am an Android user. But it's been a great game. I really enjoy it. I kind of get stuck always towards the end after a few hours of the first day. Once everything is big enough, it kind of slows down. People don't come in. I don't know. Maybe I need to look at some kind of strategy guide to figure out how to get more people to my vault, because I've even gotten to the point where I've built a radio and that's not attracting anybody. But I really enjoy the game. The game's doing great. It's selling like hotcakes. People are buying the packs, the lunch boxes in there left and right. I am tempted myself to buy the lunch boxes. But good news is coming out from this. Pete Hines, the PR guy from Bethesda, you know, the top dog when it comes to this kind of stuff, he announced on his Twitter that they're doing great with the game right now to bring it over to Android. Everything's going really well, and that we should be seeing it on Android devices next month. This was said on Thursday, so in August we should be playing Fallout Shelter on our Android devices. I am really extremely excited for this, so I don't have to keep borrowing someone else's phone throughout the day on the weekend. So I'm really happy about this. I'm really excited that this news finally came out. And that's all for my Fallout news today. On to the next topic. Sources at WB have told Kotaku this week that WB knew all along about Batman Arkham Knight's PC issues. This is, of course, it's hard to confirm this because these are anonymous sources. It's only going to Kotaku, and they're not going to give up their sources. They're not going to confirm on anything like this. It's an anonymous source, so you get to take it with a grain of salt. At the same time, though, there is a sense of credibility when it comes from Kotaku. I do find them as a credible news source. They do post a lot of credible topics and papers, articles. So this is really bad news, I think, for WB Games. If they in fact did know that there were issues with this and did nothing or did not put enough manpower behind the game on PC to help correct it, that's not right. That's not good. Rocksteady knew about it as well. I mean, Rocksteady is the main developer of the game. WB Games published it, of course. But if they all knew about this is not good news. And also, these anonymous sources also said that Rocksteady had almost nothing to do with the PC version of the game as well. So this is something that I kind of touched on, I think it was last week, about how bad the game was doing on PC. And here is anonymous sources saying things that kind of match up with what I was thinking and what I had heard previously. Again, take this with a grain of salt. It is bad news for WB Games and Rocksteady if it is all true, and I really hope that they get this straightened out sooner rather than later. So at Metricon, Nolan North, he is one of the best voice actors around, one of the most famous voice actors around. He was there at Metricon, and he was doing an interview, and he stated some things regarding Naughty Dog properties. He said that Naughty Dog he doesn't know if they're working on anything for Uncharted past Uncharted 4, but he does know that they are working on The Last of Us 2. Now, the main character, Joel, in The Last of Us 2 was voiced by Troy Baker. And Nolan North, if you didn't know, he had a very small part in the film. His character was interesting, and it was a cool section of the game where you got to change it up a little bit. But also, this brings me back to some of the other things, the other comments that he said. Everybody keeps reporting on this, and they jump to his last final words about untimely demise. Yes, Nolan North's character died in The Last of Us, and so it would be hard for Nolan North to come back in The Last of Us unless he did a different voice for a different character. So the fact is, though, Nolan North has a good history with Naughty Dog, with the Uncharted series. He was also in The Last of Us. I think he probably knows or hears about certain things when it comes out of Naughty Dog, but that's not to say it's entirely true. Is this true? We don't know. We'll have to take this one again with a grain of salt. I don't like talking about rumor too much, but the last two items have been very important, and at least in my eyes, and so I wanted to mention them a little bit at least. This fourth item of today is also a rumor as well, and this one's regarding Nintendo and the Nintendo NX. Digitimes, a foreign publication, has stated that Nintendo will be starting to make the Nintendo NX at the end of this year, possibly, at least for showing other third parties as well what are the specs, I guess, and how it can be used, and then possibly starting full-scale, production of the system in May or June of next year, and have a launch window of July of next year. That's pretty crazy and pretty fast, considering Nintendo stated they are not going to start talking or showing anything about NX until E3 of next year. So that's pretty crazy, pretty fast. Also, Nintendo stated earlier this month in a shareholders meeting, Satoru Iwata, in this meeting, he said that though we are creating, building, working on the NX, we are not going to forget about the Wii U. We are still going to support it. But when the NX does come out, the NX is the future of Nintendo, not the Wii U. But they are going to slow down production of it. But as of right now, they are in no way going to stop supporting the Wii U or the 3DS. So at least for now, I'm happy with those comments. I am excited for the NX to see what it really is. I don't know what it could be, possibly what kind of innovative aspect it could be. I'm not that creative, otherwise I'd be working for Nintendo. But I do expect them to really amp up the power on this one. Yes, they've never been about power. They've never been about the most horsepower in your machine, your console. But at this point, it's becoming easy enough to create these consoles with that power. I think they're going to do that, but I also think they're still going to put their own twist on it like they usually do with systems, and do something cool with the controller or some kind of controlling aspect or gameplay mechanics with the system. I look forward to more information about the NX. Hopefully we can get a little bit more. If not, I am excited for next year's E3 at least. Alright guys, so that's it for the video game show this week. Remember to click the like, share, subscribe buttons down below. Leave your comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section. You guys have a great 4th of July weekend. This weekend, don't use those illegal fireworks. You don't want to lose a hand or a leg or anything like that. I want you guys to come back to your lives next week in one whole piece. So you guys have a great weekend. You enjoy some barbecue time with family. Let's have a great conversation about everything going on this week in the world of video games. All right? So we'll see you next time. Peace.